Today, we're diving into a data-driven roadmap for an AI initiative, specifically at Washington State University.
This isn't some theoretical paper. This is a real plan. They're actually using this to integrate AI into how the university works. Dated March 2025, so pretty recent.
And here's the thing that immediately caught my eye. This report, over 100 pages, was put together in just a few weeks by one person in their free time. It makes you think about how AI could change how we work, right? The person who wrote this, they've done a lot of data work for the WSU Zoom team. And get this, they run Zoom for the entire university with a team of 2 people. 2 people.
That's incredible. They must have some seriously efficient systems.
Data-driven efficiency, that's their secret sauce. And you can feel this real excitement about AI in the report, you know?
Right.
This belief that it can really improve things from how the university runs to how many students enroll.
So it's not just a technical document. It's got this sense of genuine optimism about the potential.
Exactly. And that's important for you, the listener, because this WSU roadmap, it's like a case study. You can see how a big organization dealing with complex stuff can approach a huge change like adopting AI. And they do it strategically, based on data.
That's a crucial point. Data-driven decision-making, that's the core of their approach.
So before we jump in, let's give you the lay of the land. This roadmap has 7 main parts. First, it lays out the challenges facing higher education, you know, the reasons why AI is becoming so important. Second, it looks at the current state of AI in higher ed and what that means specifically for WSU. Third, it explores all these strategies and initiatives that other universities are already using. Fourth, there's a survey of AI tools that are helpful for education, plus resources for learning more about AI.
Sounds comprehensive.
It is. Fifth, and this is the heart of it all, a strategic plan for WSU to integrate AI. Sixth, we've got an AI-powered framework for microcredentialing. But finally, seventh, it looks at low-cost open-source AI solutions that WSU could use.
So a really practical step-by-step guide.
Exactly. Our goal today is to unpack each of these 7 parts, pull out the most important insights, and really understand the data and what the potential impact could be.
Let's dive in then.
Okay, starting with part 1, the challenges in higher education. Why is AI becoming so important for universities? The report starts with some pretty harsh realities.
Yeah, it doesn't sugarcoat things. One of the first things they highlight is rising tuition costs and student debt. The numbers are pretty stark. An average tuition increase of 25.6% at 4-year colleges between 2012-13 and 2022-23. And over the longer term, post-secondary tuition inflation has outpaced wage inflation by a whopping 111.4% between 2000 and 2020.
Ouch.
Yeah, so it's no surprise that a recent Pew survey found that only 22% of U.S. adults believe college is worth the cost if you have to take out loans.
And that financial pressure is definitely impacting enrollment. A 2024 Gallup poll found that cost was the top reason why students weren't going to college. And this isn't just hurting students, it's threatening the survival of some institutions. Since March 2020, at least 74 U.S. colleges have either closed or merged.
It's a pretty dire situation. And the report makes this interesting point about AI being a potential solution. Their argument is that by using AI for things like automating tasks and creating more online programs, universities could potentially lower their costs and offer more affordable options for students.
Makes sense. Streamlining and making things more efficient.
Exactly. The second challenge they highlight is growing concerns about whether graduates are actually ready for the workforce and the rise of alternative credentials.
Yeah.
You know, things like microcredentials, boot camps, online courses. The data shows that employers are looking beyond just a traditional degree.
Yeah. They want proof that you have the skills, not just a piece of paper.
Exactly. In a 2023 survey, 4 out of 5 employers said they prioritize relevant experience and skills over just having a degree. And there's also a lot of interest in stackable credentials, shorter courses that you can build on over time, with 80% of employers viewing them favorably.
So there's a real demand for education that's more focused and flexible.
Precisely. And this puts pressure on universities to make sure their graduates have the skills employers are looking for. And the report suggests that AI could be a key part of that, maybe through better skills assessments or those micro-credentialing programs we'll talk about later.
Right. Using AI to tailor education to the needs of the job market.
Now, the third challenge they discuss is how accreditation standards are changing and the rise of AI-powered learning. Accreditation is a big deal for universities. It's basically a quality stamp for their programs. And accrediting bodies are starting to focus more on learning outcomes, what students actually learn, and the flexibility of how education is delivered, including using technology like AI.
So it's not just about sitting in a classroom for a certain number of hours anymore.
Exactly. There's this growing acceptance of competency-based education where you progress based on what you can actually do, not just how long you've been in school. And this shift in accreditation opens the door for AI-powered learning systems to become a bigger part of accredited programs, as long as they can actually improve learning outcomes.
So AI could actually be a part of how education is evaluated and accredited.
Interesting, isn't it? And to top it off, just this February 2025, the Council for Higher Education Accreditation, or CHEO, issued guiding principles for using AI in accreditation. So the accrediting bodies are definitely paying attention to this.
Yeah, AI is not just a side note anymore. It's becoming mainstream in education.
And speaking of challenges, the report also talks about financial constraints coming up in 2025. Potential budget cuts, existing inefficiencies. It paints a pretty concerning picture.
It does. And there's the possibility of stagnant or even reduced state funding, plus potential cuts to federal grants in early 2025.
It's a tough financial landscape for universities.
And then there's the issue of administrative bloat. The report cites data showing that administrative staff in higher education has grown much faster than faculty over the past few decades, and the costs of running all those administrative functions are rising faster than inflation. So there's this feeling that maybe resources aren't being used as efficiently as they could be.
And the report directly connects AI to this, saying it has the potential to streamline a lot of these administrative processes, automate tasks, and ultimately save money. They even mention a survey where 80% of higher education administrators said that improving efficiency was a main reason for adopting AI.
So AI could help universities get more bang for their buck, so to speak.
Exactly. And finally, part one wraps up by talking about AI's potential to make education more affordable and accessible. They're framing AI as a tool to fundamentally change how higher education works.
Not just tweaking things around the edges, but really rethinking the whole system.
Right. And they cite some interesting data points. For example, surveys show that most admissions departments were already using or planning to use AI tools by the end of 2024. And there's this strong consensus, 86% of university leaders agreeing that AI is a huge opportunity for higher education.
So there's this belief that AI can really be a game changer.
Absolutely. So part one lays out all these challenges facing higher education, and it positions AI not as some futuristic gimmick, but as a practical solution to those challenges, backed by data.
It sets the stage for the rest of the report, which digs into how AI can actually be implemented.
Exactly. Now, part two takes us from the why to the what. It dives into the current trends and what that means for WSU. They start by looking at how much students and educators are already using AI, and the numbers are pretty striking.
Yeah, the report says that a whopping 89% of university leaders believe at least half their students are using AI for coursework. That's huge. On the faculty side, 45% reported using AI in their teaching in 2024, which is almost double the number from the year before. And a significant 84% of North American higher education professionals have used AI for work or personal stuff.
So it's clearly not just a niche thing anymore.
AI is becoming a regular part of the university experience.
And what's really interesting is how quickly this is all happening, especially with students. This rapid adoption, driven by all these user-friendly tools, creates both opportunities and challenges for universities.
It's like they need to catch up to what students are already doing.
Yeah, and that's why this data-driven strategic approach is so important.
And that brings us to the last part of part two, which is about the implications of all this for universities and the need for clear policies and training. The report stresses that universities need to respond to this growing use of AI with clear guidelines and support for students and faculty.
Absolutely. They need to address concerns about academic integrity, how to maximize the benefits of AI for learning and productivity, how to mitigate the risks of bias and inaccuracy, and how to ensure WSU stays competitive in an increasingly AI-driven world.
It's a lot to consider.
It is, but the report makes a strong case that formal, well-thought-out initiatives are essential for WSU now. So part two provides this data-driven snapshot of what's happening with AI in higher education, highlighting both the potential and the challenges. It really sets the stage for the next part, which dives into specific strategies.
Okay, so we've covered the why and the what. Now let's move on to part three, which focuses on the how, AI integration, strategies, and initiatives. This section looks at real-world examples of how other universities are using AI.
It's like a playbook for WSU to draw from.
Exactly. They start by looking at curriculum development, specifically how to integrate AI into courses across all disciplines. Some universities are moving beyond just offering AI courses in computer science departments and are starting to embed AI literacy across all fields of study.
Like making AI part of the core curriculum, even for non-STEM majors.
Yeah, they argue that everyone needs a basic understanding of AI in today's world. Some universities are even requiring AI courses for all students.
Wow. And the report mentions Carnegie Mellon having dedicated AI degree programs and USC launching a Business for Artificial Intelligence major. So it's not just about teaching the technical aspects of AI, but also how it applies to different fields.
And they highlight the importance of faculty training to make this happen. They mention partnerships like Arizona State University working with OpenAI and workshops like those at the University of Alabama and Notre Dame. It's about giving educators the skills they need to incorporate AI into their teaching.
Makes sense. You can't expect faculty to teach about AI if they don't understand it themselves.
Right. The report also examines how AI is being used to streamline administrative processes and improve decision-making. For example, in recruitment and admissions, universities are using AI-powered chatbots and personalized communication tools.
So using AI to make the admissions process more efficient and tailored to each student.
And they talk about using predictive analytics to make better decisions about things like enrollment management and course scheduling. They even mentioned Georgia State University using data to reduce summer melt, which is when students who are accepted end up not enrolling.
It's like using data to predict student behavior and then intervene to support them.
And they even talk about using AI for things like institutional governance and strategic planning. Universities like Michigan and Notre Dame are setting up task forces and ethical guidelines for AI.
So taking a proactive approach to make sure AI is used responsibly.
Exactly. Now, the third area they focus on is student support services, specifically how to use AI to improve student engagement, advising, and well-being. We're seeing more virtual assistants and chatbots that can answer students' questions, which frees up human advisors for more complex issues.
That makes sense. Automating the routine stuff so advisors can focus on the things that really require a human touch.
Right. And there are AI-powered tutoring systems and academic advising tools like the UMGPT at Michigan. These tools can provide personalized support to students based on their individual needs.
It's like having a personalized tutor available 24/7.
And they even talk about using AI to improve student life and well-being, like by centralizing information about campus resources or matching students with activities they might be interested in. But they also acknowledge the ethical considerations that come with using AI in these ways.
Like making sure student data is used responsibly and transparently.
Exactly. And finally, Part 3 delves into research applications, highlighting how AI is being used to advance university research and promote collaboration. The report talks about the growth of dedicated AI research centers, like those at the University of South Florida and Mississippi State.
These centers bring together researchers from different disciplines to focus on AI.
And they discuss how AI is being used as a research tool across many fields, including agriculture and extension research. And they note that universities are investing in AI research infrastructure, like the University of Florida's HyperGator AI supercomputer.
So they're building the tools and resources needed for cutting-edge AI research.
Yeah, it's clear that AI is becoming a major force in research, both as a field of study in itself and as a tool to accelerate discoveries in other areas.
So Part 3 provides this really valuable overview of all the different ways AI is being used in higher education, giving WSU a lot of examples and ideas to consider.
It's like a buffet of AI strategies. Now, Part 4 gets more practical, looking at specific AI tools and resources for education. This section is great because it highlights some readily available, often free, AI tools that educators and learners can start using right away.
So not just theory, but actual tools you can put to work.
Exactly. For educators, they highlight tools like Conmigo and AI Pro Tools by Contact Nord, which has features for summarization, translation, and grammar checking.
Those could be really helpful for both teachers and students.
They also mentioned Microsoft 365 Copilot Chat, which is a tool that many people at WSU already have access to through their university accounts. It could be used for summarizing documents, brainstorming, research, content creation, and getting clarifications.
It's like having an AI assistant built into your everyday software.
And there's Perplexity AI, which is a conversational search engine that provides source citations for its answers and has a focus feature to narrow down your search results. And then there's Notebook LM, which can help you organize your research, create audio overviews, generate study guides, and even do self-assessments.
So there's a tool for just about every need.
And for those who want to learn more about AI, Part 4 has a list of free professional development resources. This includes WSU's own AI literacy series from spring 2025, as well as Skillsoft's Percipio course on generative AI, which WSU staff and faculty can access with their university credentials.
That's great, making professional development accessible.
There's also Microsoft Learns AI for Educators Path and their Student Hub, Google's Generative AI for Educators program, and Google Cloud Skills Boost's intro course on generative AI.
Lots of options for people to get up to speed on AI.
And they recommend the AgeCause AI webinar series, which covers topics like AI literacy, policies, assessment, student support, and ethical considerations. And there's the 2025 AI Plus Education Summit from Stanford University, which is available on YouTube and focuses on the human side of AI in education, things like skills development, curriculum changes, and potential risks.
So a really well-rounded set of resources, both for practical skills and for thinking about the bigger picture.
And now we get to the heart of it all. Part 5, the strategic plan for AI integration at WSU. This is where all the research and analysis comes together into a concrete plan of action.
This is where the rubber meets the road.
Exactly. The main goal is to integrate AI responsibly, equitably, and effectively across WSU within 1 to 2 years. And this will be supported by the university's area technology officers, or ATOs, who are basically the tech leaders in different departments. And they're also creating a central website called Artificial Intelligence at WSU to provide information and resources.
So a coordinated effort with clear leadership and support.
And a key part of the plan is developing clear policies and ethical guidelines for AI. They want to have rules about what's acceptable and unacceptable use of AI, how to maintain academic integrity when AI is involved, how to protect data privacy, and how to address ethical concerns. And they mentioned the WSU AI Council, which was formed in 2023, and will play a big role in this.
So building a framework for responsible AI use from the ground up.
Another crucial part of the plan is training for faculty and staff to develop AI literacy across the university. They propose a framework with 4 levels: awareness, application, analysis, and creation. They also want to encourage peer learning and integrate AI into existing professional development opportunities. And they're even considering things like certificates and microcredentials to incentivize people to participate.
Wow, a really comprehensive approach to training.
They're really making an investment in AI literacy, and the ATOs will play a key role in delivering this training with a focus on ethical considerations and best practices for teaching. Now, the plan also talks about curriculum enhancement, specifically how to integrate AI literacy into the general education curriculum. They wanted to either create a foundational AI course or embed AI modules into existing courses. And they're calling for all departments to enhance their curriculum by incorporating AI applications relevant to their field. They even suggest exploring new AI-focused degree programs and minors.
So making AI part of the fabric of education at WSU.
Exactly. And they also want to support faculty in innovating their teaching methods and to regularly review the curriculum to make sure it's staying current with AI advancements. Now, a really interesting aspect of the plan is how they emphasize distributed support and collaboration using the network of area technology officers, or ATOs. These ATOs are basically the local champions for AI in their respective departments. They'll be responsible for advocating for AI, disseminating information about resources and policies, supporting pilot programs, gathering feedback, providing technical help, and building a community around AI.
So empowering people at the department level to drive AI adoption.
Exactly. And lastly, Part 5 outlines the creation of the centralized website called Artificial Intelligence at WSU. This will be a one-stop shop for everything related to AI at the university. It'll have information about policies, training resources, syllabus language about AI, assignment ideas, a directory of AI tools, examples of how AI is being used at WSU, an explanation of the AI literacy framework, a calendar of events, research highlights, case studies, FAQs, and a feedback mechanism.
So a really comprehensive resource hub.
Part 5 lays out a really clear and actionable roadmap for WSU to adopt AI strategically, with a strong emphasis on ethics and practical steps for implementation. Now let's move on to Part 6, which is all about the AI-driven microcredentialing framework. This is a really innovative part of their plan.
Yeah, it's about creating short, focused credentials that validate specific skills, and they're using AI to make it happen.
The idea is to address the growing demand from employers for soft skills, things like communication, critical thinking, teamwork, professional writing, and giving and receiving feedback.
Skills that are often hard to measure but super important in the workplace.
And the framework proposes using AI to automate the creation of the learning content and the assessments for these microcredentials. They specifically mentioned using open-source large language models like OpenAlana.
So leveraging the power of AI to streamline the development process.
But they also emphasize the importance of faculty oversight and quality control. They want to have faculty subject matter experts, or SMEs, review all the AI-generated content and assessments. And they propose a formal review workflow, similar to what's used in academic publishing, to make sure everything is high quality.
So combining the efficiency of AI with the expertise of faculty.
And to ensure that these micro-credentials are credible, they plan to have a robust proctoring system. They'll set up secure in-person proctoring centers on each campus, and they'll integrate scheduling for proctoring into their learning management system. They'll have standardized procedures for ID checks, monitoring exams, using secure software, and enforcing an honor code.
So making sure the assessments are legitimate and fair.
Exactly. Now, the report also outlines the value proposition for these micro-credentials. They'll provide verified proof of skills, backed by faculty expertise in proctoring. And they'll design the assessments to mirror real-world job tasks, so employers know that the skills being validated are relevant.
Yeah.
They'll also include detailed metadata in the digital badges that students earn, so employers can see exactly what skills were assessed.
So it's not just a generic badge, it's a detailed record of what the student can do.
And they've thought about how to make this framework scalable and sustainable. They want to use a modular design that's not tied to any specific tools and that follows open standards for learning technology and digital badges. They'll use cloud-based infrastructure and have a central committee to oversee the program. And they'll use data and feedback to continuously improve the system.
So building a system that can grow and adapt over time.
And finally, they have a financial model that aims to balance revenue generation with affordability for WSU students. They might charge fees for external learners or partner with corporations, and they might seek grant funding. But they want to keep it affordable or even free for WSU students.
So trying to make it accessible to everyone.
They also plan to start with a pilot program, testing out a few core soft skill micro-credentials with select groups of students before rolling it out more broadly. So they're taking a phased approach and gathering data along the way.
A really smart and strategic way to implement something new. This micro-credentialing framework shows how WSU is thinking about the future of education and how to use AI to create valuable opportunities for students.
Absolutely. And now we're at the last part of the roadmap. Part 7, low-cost open-source AI solutions for WSU. This section is all about showcasing practical and affordable AI solutions that WSU can implement right away.
Solutions that don't require a huge budget or a ton of technical expertise.
They provide short descriptions of 10 different examples. First, an AI-powered content recommendation engine, which could be used for marketing and admissions to suggest relevant content to prospective students.
So tailoring the information they see based on their interests.
Next, an academic pathway chatbot, which would act like a virtual academic advisor, answering common questions about degree requirements and courses.
That could be really helpful for students who are just starting out or who have questions outside of regular advising hours.
They also propose a faculty virtual assistant and knowledge base to give faculty quick access to information, policies, and resources.
So instead of having to search through tons of emails or documents, they could just ask the AI assistant.
And for researchers, they suggest an AI research literature assistant to help them find, summarize, and analyze research papers more efficiently.
That could be a huge time saver for researchers who are dealing with a mountain of literature.
And then there's an internal document summarization portal to help staff quickly understand the key points of long documents.
So instead of having to read through pages and pages, they can get a quick overview.
And they even propose an AI-powered IT help desk chatbot to handle basic technical support questions and free up IT staff for more complex issues.
That could be a win-win for both IT staff and users who need help.
They also suggest a virtual TA course Q&A assistant, which could answer students' questions about course material and assignments.
That could be especially helpful for large classes where it's hard for the TA to answer everyone's questions.
And then there's an AI-assisted curriculum and assessment design tool to help instructors create more effective learning activities and assessments.
So using AI to support good teaching practices.
And they propose intelligent document processing capabilities to automate the handling of administrative forms.
So getting rid of all that tedious paperwork.
And finally, they suggest an AI-driven student feedback analysis tool, which could automatically analyze student feedback from course evaluations and identify areas for improvement.
That could be really valuable for instructors who want to get a better understanding of what's working well and what could be improved.
So they've really thought about a wide range of applications for AI across the university. And they emphasize that these open source solutions are cost-effective, can be hosted locally to protect data, can automate tasks to improve efficiency, and can make things easier for everyone involved.
So a really practical and forward-thinking approach to AI adoption.
As we wrap up this dive into WSU's AI roadmap, the key takeaway is that this is a really comprehensive, data-driven, and strategic plan for integrating AI across the entire university. It's not just about jumping on the AI bandwagon, but about using AI to address real challenges and opportunities in higher education, with a strong emphasis on responsible and ethical implementation.
Absolutely. And for you, the listener, this detailed roadmap provides a great example of how organizations can approach a big change like AI adoption. The way WSU has used data to inform their strategy is really valuable no matter what field you're in.
It's a great case study for anyone who's thinking about the future of their organization. And it raises a really interesting question. What other areas in education or beyond could be transformed by this kind of strategic, data-driven approach to AI? What new opportunities or challenges might we face as AI becomes more integrated into our lives? It's something to think about as we move forward into this exciting and rapidly changing world.